Hello everyone, this is me, Ronaray, all the way, and I'm here today to discuss the third and final installment of Cassandra Clare's The Dark Artifices series, Queen of Air and Darkness. So this book discussion will have two parts, the non-spoiler section and the spoilers section, to which the latter section will also be divided into three parts. Number 1, the thoughts on specific plot points. Number 2, the funny parts of the book, because I live for funny parts of the book, so it deserves a separate part. And number 3, the questions that I think were left unanswered. So on to the non-spoiler section. So know that this synopsis will spoil you on the events of the previous books, so you might as well read them first before you watch this book discussion. And I don't want you to watch this discussion without knowing anything about the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It's just a waste of your brain to watch this and not know anything about it, you know? So the book starts right after the death of innocent people on the council hall, and the Clave is in the brink of civil war. One part of the gang goes to Los Angeles to find out the source of the disease that is destroying the warlocks in this time. The other half goes to Ferry to retrieve the black volume of the dead. So basically they get caught up in the race against time before the Parabati curse destroys them and everyone around them. So to give you a rough idea on what I think of the book, I'm gonna rate it a 3.8 stars out of 5. Now, on to the spoiler section of the discussion. So the thoughts of the book. Ty going up to the pyre and Julian following him. So that plot point in the book was just so fucking sad. I thought at first that he's gonna stop them from burning Livy, but fortunately he was just going up to the pyre to get Livy's locket, and also unfortunately he was going to use that locket for his schemes of bringing Livy back from the grave, and more on that later. Julian wanting to take away his feelings and succeeding. Although that was kind of selfish from Emma's point of view, and we see Emma talking to Julian about him leaving her alone with her feelings, but I guess that was necessary in Julian's POV to stop the Parabati curse from working. And we know that Julian's feelings are an integral part of who he is, with him caring for his family and Emma, and without his feelings we just get asshole Julian, which is probably what most people would end up becoming sans the feelings. Also, Ty wanting to raise Livy back from the grave. I was thinking the entire time no, do not do that. There was this one line where Ty says, everybody is supposed to be sad, but that's because they accept that Livy is dead. But I don't accept it. And I was sobbing and Ty, I don't think that's the best idea. We see Malcolm bring back Annabelle back from the grave, and that was done by a powerful warlock, okay? How much more if it were just Ty and Kit and Shade, who we all know is not going to fucking help. And we all know that shit's not going to end well. And it did not. It did not end well. Also, Julian killing Dane Larkspur. Can we talk about that? I don't think it was necessary to kill him. It was also scary for me that Julian had it in him to kill a fellow Shadowhunter, even without the feelings. It just shows another reason why Julian can be a complete asshole and a murderer without his feelings. Also, the confirmation that Sebastian's son exists. This theory by Christine from Poland Bananas books was so spot on. Holy crap, props to her for finding that out. But we all knew that it was definitely Sebastian's son in her previous books. In Lord of Shadows. I was just sitting there waiting for Cassie to confirm this fucking theory. And it did. And she did in this fucking book. Also, the Blackthorn family in Theo was It was the worst thing that could happen to any family. Being separated, some missing, some dead, some completely different from who they were before. And it's so sad. Like, I imagine that happening to my family and just not being able to live long enough with that idea. So I salute Livy Blackthorne for being able to withstand the pain of losing her family. And I don't think I could ever be strong enough to go through that, you know? It's just so fucking... Magnus and Alec tragedy and fuel. The idea, I think, was inspired by Romeo and Juliet. The other half killing themselves after realizing that the other half is dead. You know what I mean, you know? Also, Ragnar living. Like, I think I was just realizing it in the book that Ragnar, in fact, was alive. We see him dying in City of Heavenly Fire. I just didn't know he would be alive, so it was a big shocker for me. Annabelle back from the dead. Like, I don't get the concept, like, even though it was an Eidolon demon, a shape-shifting demon, was it really necessary to appear as Annabelle to Horace Blackthorne, when in fact I think he knows that it's a fucking Eidolon demon? Also, Julian calling the uprising, and by that I mean the gathering of shadow hunters and downworlders from all parts of the globe in the Los Angeles Institute, and calling it Livia's Watch. Like, When Julian was drawing Livia's locket and sabers in a canvas, I didn't realize that until that moment when he said, "We're going to be called Livia's Watch." Like, I legit teared up. Like, that was one of the beautiful highlights of the book. Julian and Emma turning into giants. I was so confused in this part though. Like, everything happened so fast and I didn't understand a thing. Even after Jem explained to them what happened, like, fuck, what? But still, it was a pretty cool concept. Also, Kit being able to use his powers as a descendant of the first heir. When Kit was able to knock out those powerful fairies, I forgot what their names were, when he was able to knock them down with his first heir descendant powers, like, go Kit. Also, Alec proposing to Magnus, and then Magnus saying yes, and then them getting married at that same night. It was like all the feels, you know. That was the best part of the book, like the best thing that happened in the book, okay? Fight me. Kit's feelings for Ty. There's this line in the book where he says he didn't look like he was cosplaying an 80s music video star. He looked icy and striking, and the word beautiful blinked on and off in Kit's head like a flickering neon sign. He ignored. I can't wait for the relationship to develop in the Wicked Powers. Like, I'm definitely rooting for Kit and Ty. Like, go them, go Kitty. Also, Tessa being pregnant, like, yuck. Also, one of the fucking highlights of the book, even though it had nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. Like, I'm so excited for Jessa babies to show up in the Wicked Powers. I mean, like, we had Wessa babies in the last hours. Now we're gonna have Jessa babies in the Wicked Powers. Like, also, the Mark, Kieran, Christina hot fairy threesome was like the best. This is like one of the best things that happened to the book, okay? Fight me on that one too. The whole place is supposed to be a pool where you get to feel the pain that you've induced on someone when you dip in the water. And hands down, one of the creepiest shit I've heard of in her books. Like, I would go mad too if I were to dip in that fucking pool. So the first heir is supposed to be the child of both the Seelie Queen and the Unseelie King, which is creepy and amazing at the same time. I want to see more of this story in the Wicked Powers, which doesn't come out till like the next 5 years or so. Kit's father's last name is a fucking mystery, and I'm super excited to read about that too in the Wicked Powers. Side note, this just means that Queen of Air and Darkness is less of an ending and more of an introduction to the Wicked Powers. Am I right or am I right? It was less of an ending than most of Cassie's finale books, like Clockwork Princess and City of Heavenly Fire. I just wish that it was more of an epilogue that was similar to Clockwork Princess and City of Heavenly Fire, and not the epilogue that we got in Queen of Air and Darkness. That was a fucking cliffhanger, bruh. Okay, let's go on to the funny parts. Simon giving the D&D action figure or figurine to Julian. Like, I laughed so hard when Julian started stabbing Ethna with a D&D figurine. Like, one of the best plot lines, lol. Also, the Office Max joke, like, there were so many. Can we talk about how they have no idea what the fuck is Office Max, and the Seelie Queen referring it as a powerful warlock? Plus A plus. And Jace having a beard in this book. When they think Adawan starts to hand out weapons and Jace having a beard and Emma disapproving of it. Like, she goes like, I can't believe you have a beard. Well, it's been a week at least. I expect it makes me look manly, like a burnished god. I hate it. And Clary says, I like it, with the adjective loyally. And then Emma sticks out her hand towards Adawan and says, give me my sword. Jace can use it to shave. Lol. Best moment ever. Also, the kitten calendar, when Kieran says, this manner of marking the passage of time is a marvel. When you're done with one kitten, there's another kitten. And by the next winter solstice, you will have seen 12 full kittens. Look, one of them is in a glass. I love Kieran so much. It's like my baby or some shit. Also, this is funny because I noticed this. And I don't think you haven't noticed this. But I think Cassie hinted reference to the Shadowhunters TV show or some shit. Like, I think that's the reason why she put this in the book. Cause like, $50 says the Inquisitor develops a high-tech robot arm that shoots laser beams, said Kit when Diana cut out Horace's arm and everyone looked at him. It always happens in movies, he explained. We're Shadowhunters, said Julian. We're not high-tech. And like, boom, shots fired at the Shadowhunters TV show. Like, you're doing it wrong, bitches. Mega oof. Here are my questions for Queen of Air and Darkness. The medallions and the Rosales connections to Fairy. I want to see more of how this turned out to be. Like, hopefully we'll get a novella on how that happens, or is it already a novella in the Ghosts of Shadow Market? Or I could be wrong because I haven't read it yet. Also, the vial of scarlet liquid, which was Ash's blood. We see Manuel taking the vial of scarlet liquid from the dead Unseelie King's neck and putting it in his pocket. Like, how is that going to turn out? I feel like the Wicked Powers is going to have a plot based on that. Like, them being in Idris, which grants them more powerful access, I think. Because Idris is like their homeland. It has powerful shit there. I'm super scared on what's going to happen next. Also, Ash having fucking wings. Bruh, Ash has wings. Like, how? Unicorns existing or not existing. I know this is like super out of topic, but Jace mentioned something about unicorns not existing. I just want to point out that they do, in fact, in the Shadow World, because it's in the Shadowhunters Codex. Like, wait, hold on. See this shit? That's a fucking unicorn, bitch. I don't get it. Okay, that's a question for me. That's a valid question for me, okay? Also, Ash having an interest in Drew. Yes, I know it's weird, but I think it's going to happen. Like, there are reoccurring instances in the Lord of Shadows book and the Queen of Air and Darkness book where Cassie hints at them being together. Like in this paragraph from QoAaD. Ash's heart was pounding, though he could not have said why. Hastily, he folded the drawing and thrust it into his pocket. What is up with that? Oh my fucking god. What is up with that? Oh my god. Drew, Ash. Ashru. I just found it confusing and interesting at the same time. Also, there's this thing where Emma sees Livy beside Julian. in the Gathering of the Uprising, which I mentioned before, like the Uprising being the Shadowhunters and the Downworlders. So there is a passage in the book where Emma sees Livy beside Julian, and I would like to know what's up with that. Like, was it a ghost or a hallucination? So another thing about ghosts, Michael Whalen appearing as a ghost on Robert's funeral. Like, is that a thing that ghosts do? Or is there an unfinished business? I don't fucking know. Also, Cortana breaking the mortal fucking sword. Still don't get that too, like, what the fuck is up with that? Someone please explain it to me in the comments below. Like, all these fucking questions are giving me a headache, like, oh my god. Okay, I think that's all for now. I know that leaving this video on a questionable note is a weird thing, but unfortunately, that was all it for the book discussion. I want to know your thoughts, so please leave in the comments below, and all the stuff that happened in the book that were my questions. Like, please comment them all down below, because I really want to know. I guess that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Instagram at Rana Reads. Like the shit of a video if you like it, and subscribe for more bookish content. Goodbye, world!